Hello, Yousaf. Good to have you here. Finally, it's time for us to reconnect with our audience and discuss what's happening in the wonderful country of Canada. How's the weather these days? Fall started?
Hi, Haroon. Always a pleasure, talking to you. It's been a while since we did our live shows on that. Everything is good here. The weather is actually pretty nice. It still feels like those last days of summer right now.
Nice.
And in Canada, as far as you can have an extended summer, you really want to enjoy that.
Awesome, my friend. Enjoy the weather as much as you can before the winter kicks in.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we are very excited to see that this weather has got an extension on that, and then that just affects the whole mood of the people as well, right? I mean, everybody is still out, walking, jogging, getting those things on there. When the winter comes in, then definitely slows down on the people's mood as well.
Yeah. Well, Canada ranks among the highest in terms of quality of life, and we are envious of all those who are living in Canada and enjoying the wonderful life there. Talking about that, how were the last 12 months in terms of sentiment given the relatively higher interest rates? And would you like to share something with our audience? Because we get asked quite often on when is the right time to invest in Canada. And we are talking about Canadians living outside of Canada as well as
Yeah.
those residents who aspire to move to Canada. So we would love to hear your thoughts on it.
Absolutely. So, Harun, as you know that the interest rates hike started in 2022, and then we saw
Mm,
almost like 10 interest rates hikes going in right from back to back on that time. And also, it was very important because the inflation was very very high. Last 12 months has been a very different. I would say that from the interest rate perspective and from the real estate perspective as well. So
right,
what's happened is that the Bank of Canada started reducing its interest rate, which has gone to like three times this year already on that, and which is brings the benchmark to about 4.25% on it on that. And now the
right.
latest inflation data, which came in interestingly, was about like close to 2%. Now there is another two more rate announcements which is supposed to go one on October 23rd. The other one is going to be in December on that.
Right.
And I was just reading recently, because at IQI we speak to a lot of bankers and we deal with all the five major banks, and then I was just reading one of the reports from CIBC economist, and then it was they were mentioning that now the way the interest rates cuts have been going on, it seems like it's going to be a little bit more aggressive in terms of the interest rate cuts. I mean, we have already seen, three interest rate cuts going down on that. Recently, we must have heard that the U.S. interest rate went down as well on that. They had a cut as well on that. So I think like this interest rate cut is going to be it's going to continue right now that
Uh-huh.
and then it brings in a lot of sentiments as well. So last 12 months in terms of the interest rate has definitely impacted the real estate market for sure on that because it also goes directly to the people's affordability on that, right? So people
Right,
are able
right.
to,
So you
if the
see
interest is high, yeah.
the turn with interest rates coming down. You see this turn of tide coming in? Sorry, I didn't mean to interject, but like you said, the expected interest rate drop may have a positive sentiment on people buying real estate assets. So do you foresee that prices may tend to improve, which had softened in the last 12 months?
Absolutely. So again, Harun, let's just keep in mind, right? Interest rate is directly also related to the people's affordability on that. We were so much
Right.
used to of getting the 1.99 interest rate, and then it started going up. And we were still in the thinking process of saying that, oh, it's going to stop at 2%, it's going to stop at 3%, it's going to stop at 4%. I'm talking about the prime rate, right? And then it came hitting the prime rate to about 7.25%, 7.5% of that. And then there was a time when people said, where should I really buy a house or should I start renting a house? Because your mortgage every month was much more higher. So you don't want to go and buy something into it where you can actually rent out cheaper. I'm talking about specifically about the first time home buyers as well on that, right? I mean, the whole impact
Right,
goes
right,
on that. So what we have seen is that, like, and it's again no brainer, when the interest rate starts going down, there are more active buyers in the market. So what happens to the pricing immediately on there, right? Suddenly, if you have a buyer, for example, the
right,
property,
right.
if you're sitting in the market for about 30, 40, 60 days on that, and then all of a sudden you start seeing that the buyers getting active on that. So definitely what we see is that the prices, I would still say the prices haven't gone down significantly on that. You can't still buy $1 million home for $800,000 in GTA anywhere at all on there, right? Yes, it is definitely softened a little bit on that. But now with the interest rate going down, we have actually seen that the market has started picking up. And let me give you an example. Just the other day, one of the properties in Mississauga, it was a townhouse, and listed under $1 million, and we got like six offers on it on that. It's still sold conditional,
Wow.
so price cannot be displaced on that. But
Yeah,
again,
but
this is what
still,
is happening. Yeah, I mean that just shows you that three interest rate cuts and people are already out in the market. You
excellent.
know,
Yusuf, now this is a very interesting point that you bring up, that the market is responding to the sentiments of likely interest rate drops. What we also want to hear from you, Yusuf, are some of our investors in the UAE market. They see a very buoyant UAE market right now. And given the Canadian dollar parity of about $1.35, we see even at $1 million Canadian, these are good, attractive investments for the people here in the UAE. So, what do you recommend in terms of, we hear about there are taxes, people who cannot invest in Canada, but we have a lot of Canadians who are living here outside of Canada. What are your thoughts on those people? Should they be in the market now?
so very good point. First of all, with the Canadian dollar at $1.35 to $1.40, now people who are earning in US dollars, there's already an increase of 35 to 40% when you convert from US dollar to Canadian dollars, number one. Second thing is that, the Canadians who are living outside of Canada, that option is always open for them to invest or to buy properties over here, and that there's nothing which is stopping them to invest over here on that. International investors can still invest into commercial properties. They could still buy residential properties provided they have a family member or or a kid who's going to school, who they can still buy the property. Obviously, there is a 25% NRST tax on it, which is refundable within 4 years once
I
they get
see.
a PR card or they get graduated on that. But coming back to the fact, like that can investors invest in Canada and what is happening right now in the real estate market. I want to bring you this very specific thing, Haroon, because a lot of people have invested, especially at the time of after COVID. People having money, they say whether you should go into real estate, you should go to stock market, and every time the funds that people have the money, they'll invest somewhere on that. So what has recently happened is that because of the interest rate impact, there's still a lot of deals which is coming up in the market in terms of an assignment sale. Just to
Ah,
let our people know what is an assignment sale, right?
yes,
Now, what
please. I
happens?
was going to ask you, help us understand assignment sales.
So what happens is that when you have, for example, today I buy a property and I bought a property about 2 years ago, and my closing is coming up right
Is
now
this
in next 6 months.
pre-construction property that you
Pre-construction
purchased?
or
Right.
off market, what you guys say, pre-construction off
Off
market
plan.
on that, right? Off plan, exactly. That's what I was looking for, the right
Yeah.
word, off plan on that.
Yeah.
So when the closing is coming up, there's always an opportunity or right from the builder given to the sellers that they could assign this property before closing. Now, an
Right.
assignment
Right.
occurs is that because a lot of reasons for that. People want to make a little profit and get out of that investment. They don't want to close on it, and sometimes it's the affordability, as you said, right? For example, if somebody owns four properties and now they want to add on another couple of properties to themselves, that's going to really get them difficulty sometimes qualifying themselves, or even at the same time paying up a higher mortgage payments on that. So what we have recently seen is that a lot of assignment sales have come into the market where people are letting go something which they bought about 2 or 3 years ago when the occupancy at the closing is coming up right now. So you can actually get prices from 2021, 2022. For example, if somebody has
Wow.
an
So we can get 22 prices now if we
yes.
have the cash to go and acquire those properties. Now, listeners, I mean, just what Yusuf said presents a very good opportunity for you. If you have cash and you're interested, please do look for those rare opportunities to invest in properties. And as Yusuf said, whether it's residential or another property, if you are connected to a family member in living in Canada, this could be a wonderful opportunity. Excellent. And one quick question, Yusuf, and I apologize for this. In the interest of time, I am going to
Yeah,
rush you a bit. Uh,
no problem.
how about investments in commercial, industrial, and retail? Now, does that also attract tax, or is that something where the investors can look at good opportunities as well?
So very interestingly, when this ban came in for the international investors, it does not apply to any of the commercial properties. Now, as you know, Haroon, commercial in anywhere in the world is always very steady. And people who are getting into commercial are the people who are looking for a long-term investment on that. I always say to all my commercial investors that this is not something like a residential where you can immediately go and have a turnaround on that. But then if you're looking for a solid cash flow, if you're looking for a long-term investment, interestingly, the commercial has been very steady in the market.
Right, right,
And when I talk about commercial, I mean like multi-family homes. I'm
right,
talking about the hotels. I'm talking about the land development and these kind of projects on that. And the good thing is that Harun, it's open to all investors. So, for example,
right.
even if you're not a Canadian citizen, you can buy commercial property and there is no tax implication, which is what I mean by tax implication is the NRST, which is the non-resident sales tax on that. So yes, commercial is open to all investors.
Excellent. So just to recap, Yusuf, as you said, because of the interest rate environment, there is a sentiment that the market prices may pick up, but there is an overhang where there are deals available at
Yes.
2022 prices, which are either available for assignment sales or possibly distressed asset sales. And people who have cash may have those rare opportunities to grab them if they're interested. Correct?
That's
Now,
right. And then,
uh,
Harun, I think we need to read because of the, I know the time is short, but I really would like to, next time when we have our live talk on that, I'd like to really check out a few deals and share it with you and our viewers as well, just to let them know like what's going on market and how they can really, really encash on this incredible opportunity.
certainly, Yusuf, and I really do apologize for rushing you through this. But just as a quick recap, for investors who are outside of Canada and they are looking for good investment opportunities, would you and your team be able to provide some attractive properties where they can invest, possibly get a mortgage if they qualify, as well as make a good return through rental income? All of that can be provided by your team in IQI Canada. Is that correct?
Our team is very dynamic. We speak different languages. We speak, English, Hindi, Urdu, Arabic, Farsi, Mandarin, Cantonese. Our team is an is,
Amazing.
is really an expert.
Vietnamese,
You know that Vietnamese as well, for sure. So, well, you know that globally we are in 40 countries, but I'm talking about
right.
just for the Canada side of it on that. Yes, we can provide all everything in terms of the property management, in terms of advising you. See, one thing, Haroon, is that our all our agents, we don't call them as agents, we call them as real estate advisors. It's very
Excellent.
important that you need to advise people. You don't want to be just a salesperson because in today's world, everybody can Google, everybody can find out what's going on. But then when you have the experience with you and you go and tell people, listen, this is not an investment for you, or this is an investment for you. And so what we generally do is that just very quickly is that we always sit with the client, understand their financial needs, understand their long-term and short-term plans on that. And based on that, we will advise them.
Excellent, Yusuf. I'm really, really glad you have shared the insights. And just to quickly recap for all the audience who's listening to us, This is an amazing time to invest in Canada when we compare it to other countries which have similar quality of opportunities, whether they are the United Kingdom, Australia, the United States, Canada, because of its attractive currency rates, because of the great pressure on urbanization and immigration, presents a great opportunity for people to invest. Yousaf and his team are able to assist and help you guide you invest. Please reach out to any of our agents across 20 plus countries where we are present, and they'd be able to connect you with the right people to help you find the right opportunity. Thank you, Yousaf. Really appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time. And yes, certainly in our next session, we will go into more detail on how to invest in short sales and distressed asset investment properties. Maybe you can show some examples to us.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you, Haroon. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good to
Bye.
have you. Bye.